Sometimes a really great game nails a gameplay mechanic, visual, or set piece, and it takes an already stellar experience and just shoots it that much further out into the stratosphere. These moments are talked about the second a friend or anyone else hits that same spot, and they're the sequences that bind all of us together, making for the best conversations you can have about the titles you love. So sound off on your own absolute coolest moments in game history down below, because I'm Jess from WhatCulture.com, and here are the 10 exact moments that made great video games even better. Number 10. DOOMGUY fires himself out of a cannon. Doom Eternal. How can you not love that sentence? There's just something so impeccable about the way that Doom Eternal just goes for it from beginning to end that makes it absolutely one of the best sequels in recent memory. Much like its predecessor, Eternal was a bombastic, gory, and challenging shooter that wore its metal album aesthetic proudly on its sleeve, relishing a type of energetic chess combat carnage and keeping you in the pocket the whole way through. Cut to the midpoint though, and DOOMGUY needs to make his way across Mars's core to his next target. In a genius, non-dialogue driven realization from DOOMGUY and Doom's writers to us as players, DOOMGUY first blows a crater in the side of Mars itself using an oversized BFG 10,000 planetary laser, and then fires himself from a cannon to close the distance. Shrugging it off like nothing happened, Mick Gordon's thunderous score revs back up and you keep playing. Number 9. The Ashtray Maze. Control. Remedy are a developer you just have to be happy to have existing. Every single time they drop a new game, there's something special to be found. From Max Payne to Alan Wake, Quantum Break to Control, each showcase a signature sense of stylish world building and fun, and experimental storytelling that no one else quite gets so right. For Control, it's Men in Black meets PsyOps, the Mindgate conspiracy, a non-stop delight of top-secret government weirdness and eccentric ghostly behavior. From a shape-shifting main weapon to various psychic abilities, by the time you return to the formerly locked Ashtray Maze, Remedy go all out with the greatest hit of beats only they could pull off. Backed by awesome returning band Poets of the Fall, heard across Max Payne 2 and Alan Wake, you play a now confidently aerial Jesse Faden, blasting more waves of enemies into dust than anywhere else in the game. The Ashtray Maze is Control's character build just absolutely paying off, and it's got this sense of unadulterated style that just plays through the entire experience and makes it an unbelievably standout game. Number 8. Meeting and summoning SOLAIRE. Dark Souls. Famous for its unrelenting difficulty, millions have talked about how oppressive Dark Souls feels. It's why so many of us fell in love with overcoming its many ambushes, traps, and enemy encounters. However, while SOLAIRE of Astora is a fan favorite character, summoning in itself in Dark Souls is kind of divisive. That means we rarely get to talk about the joy of bringing such an awesome individual into a fight. Found on a balcony overlooking the first glimpse of sunlight in the game, SOLAIRE's infectious laugh and invitation for jolly cooperation is meant to be the remedy to just how much you're putting up with, trying to learn Dark Souls' ropes. By the time you reach the Bell Gargoyles and likely get your teeth handed to you in the process, realizing you can take these demons on together in a game not giving you any help whatsoever is a godsend. Jolly cooperation, we love you. Number 7. Maria's Death. Gears of War 2. When Gears of War landed in 2006, it became known for over-muscled characters and guns with under-mounted chainsaws. However, the reason millions of us fell in love with Gears' whole vibe was a masterful trailer featuring Gary Jules' Mad World, as Marcus Phoenix cowered and ran from a gigantic beast we'd never seen before. While Gears could always nail it on its overblown gore and hulking weaponry, it's actually the reminder that humanity's always on the back foot where it really shines. For Gears 2 then, Epic and Cliff Bleszinski really leaned on those emotional threads. While the suicide of immediate new favorite character Ty was an unexpected, shocking moment, it was the way Dom's wife Maria died that none of us saw coming. Essentially shot from Dom's point of view as he and Marcus finally track her down after being missing for some time, Maria firstly appears to be completely human. Her and Dom embrace, only for the horror of the situation to be revealed. Maria is far from okay, and is instead a malnourished, barely conscious husk of her former self. With nothing left then but for Dom to permanently ease her suffering, this entire sequence is a huge part of why Gears is so fondly remembered. Number 6. The Dawn Will Come. Dragon Age Inquisition. One of BioWare's biggest and most ambitious RPGs, Dragon Age Inquisition, is set during civil unrest, only for a foreboding green portal to appear in the sky. Unleashing demons on the land, it's up to you as the Inquisitor to bring peace and build a force strong enough to face whatever lies beyond this mysterious tear. Not long after the newly forged Inquisition begins to find its feet, your forces are all but decimated by antagonist Corypheus. Barely escaping, the survivors are left defeated and disheartened, with no plan for how to proceed. It's at this point, while discussing the situation with Mother Giselle, that she begins to sing a hymn called "The Dawn Will Come." More voices are gradually added to the melody until the song envelops the entire camp. The hymn is a sombering reflection of the hardships these people have just been through, as the voices reach a unified crescendo and the singers look towards the Inquisitor for guidance. They're transformed into a symbol for hope. A lot of people seem to think that the BioWare magic died after Mass Effect 3, but Dragon Age Inquisition proves they're still more than capable of creating some incredible sequences. Number 5. The Bloody Baron Story, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The quest that made the game. The Witcher 3 series of Bloody Baron quests is everything CD Projekt Red do better than anybody else in the industry. Showcased back in 2015 for the first time, it's that secret ingredient behind why Wild Hunt is so truly great. An exceptional character-driven story, the Bloody Baron asks Geralt for help in finding his missing wife and daughter. After you and Geralt alike have surveyed the clues of their disappearance, though, it's clear the Baron himself was responsible. What follows is a mature tale of abuse, misfortune, and regret, leading to the Baron attempting to do right by his unborn child in a way the game doesn't remotely shy away from. Injecting a supernatural edge that's pure Witcher creator Andrzej Sapkowski, this quest is key to understanding what The Witcher as a mythos truly is. Number 4. Witnessing the Supernova. Outer Wilds. Often overlooked in a 2019 filled with Sekiro, Death Stranding, and Resident Evil 2 remake, Outer Wilds is a stunning indie game where an alien adventurer studies their own solar system to uncover secrets about a mysterious precursor race. However, before takeoff, one of the already discovered precursor artifacts triggers, trapping you in a 22-minute time loop. From here, you can learn many things that fold into subsequent loops, unlocking the secrets of the cosmos, but manage to survive an entire 22-minute run, and you can watch the galaxy collapse on itself from your own ship. With Andrew Prelau's ethereal electronic soundtrack, the music slowly builds to a moment of silence. Once the sun has collapsed on itself, an eruption of blinding light slowly engulfs all around, including you, as time resets. Outer Wilds has many tricky secrets for you to find for yourself, but seeing this obvious one firsthand is an absolute treat. Number 3. Crossing into Mexico. Red Dead Redemption. Across all of Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, there's a signature moment that really distills the beauty of the series, and that's crossing into Mexico. During the first main portion of the game, the backdrop of John Marston's quest is the dusty small towns and picturesque canyons of New Austin. But when his journey requires him to cross the river into Mexico, we're treated to an exhilarating gunfight set piece before things change gears entirely, and there's a profound sense of calm. When Marston mounts his horse after completing the crossing and slaying half the populace in slow motion, the soundscape is overtaken by the melancholic tones of Jose Gonzalez's Far Away. Being the first time a piece of music with vocals is featured in the game, its arrival took everyone by surprise, nailing the significance of this point in John's quest. It's a gorgeous self-reflective moment for both Marston and the player, and it's just one of those things that Rockstar never seem to get wrong. Number 2. Shock and Awe. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. The first game in the franchise to bring the action to a modern-day setting, 2007's Modern Warfare was a refreshing change of pace that came with an incredibly memorable campaign. Featuring standout missions like Crew Expendable, Death from Above, and One Shot, One Kill, one moment everybody remembers is the finale to the aptly titled mission, Shock and Awe. Playing as US Marine Paul Jackson, your objective here is to capture antagonist Al-Assad. The mission plays out like any other. However, before reaching the objective, news of a nuclear bomb means it's time to leave. But just when you manage to take off after rescuing a crashed pilot, the bomb explodes. Instead of a narrow escape, Jackson is caught in the explosion, and in a harrowing sequence, stumbles through the devastation before his death. As we're sat there not quite believing what we've just seen, the entire screen zooms out to a satellite HUD, and then we see Jackson's status now reads KIA. Number 1. Elizabeth sings, BioShock Infinite. Much like the BioShock games that came before it, BioShock Infinite is known for its mind-bending plot, which digs into themes of religion, racism, and American exceptionalism, as you travel through the alternate versions of the floating city Columbia. At the center of it all is the relationship between protagonist Booker DeWitt and Elizabeth, the teenager he's tasked to retrieve at the start of the game. As a bond naturally and gradually forms between the pair, it's impossible not to get invested in their quest for freedom. It's this driving force that makes the final twist so emotionally impactful. But there's a much smaller moment earlier in the game that perfectly encapsulates the pair, and it's possible to miss it. While exploring a bar in the slums, Elizabeth will point out a guitar, and you can go up to it where Booker will show off his chops. The short sequence sees Elizabeth singing the hymn "Will the Circle Be Unbroken" as she gives a small child some food. Not only does the song tap into the game's themes of religion while foreshadowing its provocative ending, but it also underscores Elizabeth's kind-hearted nature. This sequence is storytelling at its finest and most wholesome. That's the end of our list, but do let me know down in that comment section if you can think of any other exact moments in the video games you love that make great games even better. As always, I've been Jess from WhatCulture. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you like, you can come say hi to me on my Twitter account where I'm @JessMcDonnell, but make sure you stay tuned to us here for plenty more gaming goodness.